Hello my friends, this is Linol Anderson here with you guys with a brand new YouTube BitChute video. In today's video I have another update on this April 8th eclipse situation. We've had some massive developments since my last video, and it's really going to be shining a light on the spiritual aspect of what's going on here. Okay, so pretty much it was just announced that Cern, that's right, they're firing up the Large Hadron Collider on April 8th, the day of the solar eclipse, which is huge, my friends. It's absolutely huge because every time they fire this thing up, major things happen, and they're literally opening up a portal to the fourth dimension, and it might be letting some things into our realm. Okay, we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about the rockets that NASA announced they're going to be launching during the solar eclipse as well, calling it Operation Serpent Deity. What the heck, right? And then we're even going to get into the red heifers and how that's connected in Jerusalem. They want to rebuild their third temple, and they're about ready to do it, and they got these red heifers that they have to sacrifice to pretty much bring in the end of days, and it's about to happen. So we're going to get into all those topics and even more in today's video. But before we begin, I'm just going to ask you guys, if you enjoyed today's video, please hit that subscribe button. As I say, subscribe to survive, and smash the like button because it helps all Linol out with the algorithms. Okay, so let's get into it. So yeah, that's right, they're firing up Cern the day of the solar eclipse, April 8th. And, you know, it's crazy because they said they actually started it on March 22nd to warm it up. And it's interesting because since the 22nd, which was March 22nd, which is 322, that's right, Skull and Bones, a very occultic day where they do many of their rituals on 322. It's a huge occult day, okay, a satanic occult day, just so you guys know. So they started it up on that day just to warm it up. It's not on full blast yet. But since then, what have we seen happen in the world? Well, the very same day we saw the incident happen in Moscow, right? The attack, which, if you look into it, it's obvious that they're not being completely honest about everything, and it looks like this is going to further the agenda going on with that whole situation that I don't want to speak too much about on YouTube because of censorship reasons, but you know what happened in Russia there. And then, a couple days later there, we have the Baltimore Bridge incident, which once again was another inside job, if you ask me. That's a whole topic for another video, but that's going to affect things majorly in the United States and the economy and everything, and I do believe it's connected to the bigger grand picture. Again, topic for another day. But those were a couple major events that took place right after they started warming up the Hadron Collider. And never forget, the last time they fired up Cern, okay, last time, the Georgia Guidestones fell the very same day. That's right, the NWO's monument in Georgia, it got taken down. A lot of people thought this was a good thing, but it was, of course, an Illuminati ritual, 100%, my friends. Pretty much covering up what their goal is to do to humanity, but that was really marking that their depopulation agenda, the NWO agenda, was going into full force, because ever since that happened, we've seen massive advancements in the cult's agenda. So what's going to happen this time? Well, I got a video to show you, talking a little bit about CERN starting up again. Take a look.
Why? I think that everyone right now is asking themselves, why? Why is CERN to test world's most powerful particle accelerator during April's solar eclipse? Well, to search for invisible matter that secretly powers our universe. What? So while NASA will fire 3 rockets at the solar eclipse, Cern in Geneva is going to take out of hibernation the Large Hadron Collider Particle Accelerator. And the progress can be followed live on Cern webpage. Late last week, for the first time since the annual winter shutdown, a first beam of protons briefly went around the accelerator's 27-kilometer circle at full 6.8 TeV energy. The first collisions of proton beams are expected on April 8th, when all tests and fine-tuning of the machines are over. Then the large CERN experiments involving colliding protons can resume their measurement program. CERN to test the world's most powerful particle accelerator during April's solar eclipse to search for invisible matter that secretly powers our universe. Wouldn't that be called God? Godness? Source?
Well, there you have it. And to answer this lady's question that she asked there, God, the source? Well, it depends on who you think God is. You guys gotta realize this universe is not base reality. This universe that we are in is the false phantom matrix, simulation in the demiurges, Saturn/Satan, the god of this world. We're inside his universe, and it's the demiurge. It's this satanic reptilian AI, okay, that is powering this universe. So they're trying to harness that power or tap into that. Crazy stuff on the day of the solar eclipse, right? Well, what if I were to tell you guys CERN just made another big announcement that they have a ghost. They found a ghost or some kind of fourth dimensional entity stuck inside the Large Hadron Collider. Take a look. Oh, that's right. That's just from the past week with the news. They are literally admitting that they have a fourth dimensional entity inside their collider. And of course, we know what CERN is doing. It's a technology and literally could open up portals to let in entities from the astral realm. And they already got an entity stuck inside it, which I believe to be connected to the demiurge and his archons, the dark forces, AI forces that control this realm. And it appears that we are entering those times that they plan on opening portals and allowing even more dark entities to possibly even physically manifest, or at least spiritually manifest, into this realm. And I even did a channeling. That's right, I did a channeling to confirm all these things with the Palladians. And it did confirm for me that on April 8th, they will be using the CERN Hadron Collider, and it's going to be connected to Nibiru, because you got to remember, Nibiru is not what you think it is. Nibiru is actually a fourth dimensional object, and it's like another realm. And they're opening up a portal to Nibiru. It's connected with the eclipse, and it is going to be letting in some very dark entities into this realm. Okay, and I'm not saying this for you guys to be in fear. The last thing we should be is be in fear, because fear is what feeds them. This is the reptilian harvest. You guys got to remember that. They are trying to feed off our fear. So do not stay in fear. These entities are pathetic, if you ask me. They're like cockroaches or flies. You know, it's nothing to be afraid of. You could laugh at them. End of the day, a lot of these entities are just the astral AI. Okay? Dark entities, yes. But it does appear that this is a massive ritual, and they're using this technology to open up this portal that's connected to Nibiru/Nemesis, the Black Sun, and it's connected with this sun, and it's all to let in some kind of entity which they already admitted is within their Hadron Collider. Oh yeah, but it doesn't stop there, my friends. NASA announced that they're also going to be firing rockets towards the eclipse, and they're naming it Operation Serpent Deity. Reptilian AI, anyone? Reptilian harvest? Yeah, take a look.
NASA has stated that they will be launching 3 rockets in the sky during the solar eclipse, and they claim that they are studying the Earth's upper atmosphere, and they would name these rockets Apep. Now, Apep would be an ancient Egyptian deity. He would also be called Apophis. Apep is a god of chaos. He is known to bring judgment and order. You guys have to understand that we have ancestors in higher dimensions, and they are coming back to bring balance.
Apophis was depicted as a great serpent and sometimes as a colossal crocodile. He was an incarnation of disorder and destruction, the supreme incarnation of disorder and destruction.
There you have it. So very suspicious, very weird things going on here, correct, my friends? But it doesn't stop there, because then we have the whole situation with the red heifers. But before we get to the red heifers, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to our sponsors at Heaven's Harvest. Okay, my friends, I always like to say, do not be in fear, but be prepared. Because, it's unpredictable times, a lot of things may happen, but as long as you're prepared, you got nothing to worry about. So down there at Heaven's Harvest, they have restorable food buckets, okay, that last up 25 years. They have organic food buckets, okay. They got water filtration, that you could take these water filters and you could get water from any source. You could go to a dirty old pond and filter out and have clean drinking water. And they got food kits as well, okay. So in these times, it's very important to have some emergency food in case an emergency strikes, and clean drinking water. Humans could only live 3 days without drinking water, so that's the most important thing for sure. So I'll leave the link down below in the description box, and if you use my link, you'll get 10% off and free shipping in the United States. But just be aware, if you do purchase one of these food buckets, you need to have water with it to prepare it, and a heat source would also help as well, so you don't have to eat it cold. But if you do all those things and are prepared for all that, it's great. It'll get you through the emergency times, so you don't have to starve or anything like that. And of course, organic kits are always the best. It's healthier, not going to make you sick like many other food bucket companies have been known to do. All right, my friends, link is down below, and let's get back to the red heifer topic. That's right, I've talked about on my channel before about the Third Temple prophecy that's playing out right now in Israel, Jerusalem. It was said that in the end days, before the Antichrist arrived, that they have to, and before they rebuild their third temple, which as of right now the Al Aqsa Mosque sits on top of, which they cannot have that there anymore. They need to take it down at some point, which of course is going to spark WW3 and a holy war. But before they could do that, and before their Mashiach, which the Christian community believes the Antichrist, before they could arrive, and all this process starts with the sacrificing of red heifers, which hasn't happened in thousands of years, 2,000 years I think, and this needs to happen. So I got a video to show you guys. Take a look.
A massive altar already awaits, where the heifers are to be burned. According to some believers, the ceremony needs to be performed right here on the Mount of Olives, looking directly into where the temple once stood. At a secure, undisclosed location are these red heifers, to be precise. Some Jews and Christians believe they're the key to rebuilding the historic Jewish temple in Jerusalem and to beckoning the Messiah. To understand, you have to go back nearly 2,000 years when the ancient Romans destroyed the last temple in the city. To rebuild it, these believers point to the Bible's book of Numbers. It commands the Israelites to sacrifice a red heifer without defect or blemish, and that has never been under a yoke. Only then can the temple rise again. Caring for them on an Israeli settlement in the West Bank is Yitzhak Mamo.
So we have here, after a long research, we find in Texas.
In Texas?
Yeah, Texas, United States of America.
Texas Red Angus, flying them 7,000 miles to Israel.
This is not a publicity stunt.
What do you mean?
Meaning, this is something you take very seriously.
Harry Potter is a good story. The Bible is not story. The Bible is a way of God to lead us.
The red heifer. Yo, this is wild. It's written for the temple to be rebuilt. That ushers in the end times. All the tools that they use within the temple need to be cleansed. In order to do that, they sacrifice a red heifer. There's only been 9 red heifers ever sacrificed. The last red heifer to have been sacrificed was 2,000 years ago. Heifers are in Israel right now being like protected and guarded. They have 9 months to sacrifice this red heifer because they can't be older than 3 years old. He's basically saying like if this happens, we're now in the trajectory of this end times prophecy stuff. What's crazy too, with each sacrifice, they always mix the ashes of the previous red heifers. When they found the Dead Sea Scrolls, they also found a jar that had the previous 9 red heifers' ashes in it. Weird. Dating back to Moses.
There you have it. They have the red heifers. They finally have their pure red heifers. They just built the altar and they are about to do this. Okay, my friends? Any moment now. But based on what I've been hearing, because you see, they got to do it at a certain time, and it appears that the day they plan to do this sacrifice, which is going to start all these events, escalate it big time, it looks like it's going to be April 10th. I don't know for sure. It could even be April 22nd, which is the first day of Passover. But you see, they got to do this as soon as possible because if these red heifers get too old, then they're no good. And they got to find new ones and it delays the whole process. They got to do it sometime this Passover. But it does appear that it will be around April 10th, okay? From April 8th to April 10th. We will keep an eye on it. But this is a major day for the powers that be, and it's coinciding, yes, with the eclipse and the Cern and the big ritual they're doing with the rockets. It's all connected because you see, what you guys gotta realize is April 8th to the April 10th is a huge day for the Satanists and for the powers that be, okay? And I'm going to tell you a little story now, okay, about a man named Lester Crowley. I'm sure a lot of people have heard of Crowley before. And you know what? I really got to make a video just on Crowley and exposing a lot of who he was, because it goes a lot deeper than you might think. And he was somebody a lot of people probably wouldn't think of. And no, I do not think he was a good man at all. I think that this man was the prophet of Satan. And some people don't even want to think he was a Satanist or this and that. Oh, he was, for sure. And you see what happened on April 8th, back in 1904, I believe. But he went to Cairo, Egypt, to the Great Pyramid with his fiancée or his new wife, Rose. Forget if I think they just got married there on their honeymoon, actually. And he went into the Great Pyramid to do these rituals, and pretty much he channeled an entity named Aiwas. Okay? That is A-I-was. That's how it's spelled. A-I? Oh, yeah. And pretty much, that's when he wrote his book, The Book of the Law, which was pretty much this entity that he channeled, who later he revealed was Satan. He did refer to him as Satan, the devil, the beast, whatever you want to call it. He also said it was Horus, or it was connected, like the child of Horus, or connected to Horus, Horus's child, something like that. It had a connection to Horus, and pretty much this being was telling him about the Aeon of Horus that was coming in. And we know who Horus is. We know it's Inky, the AI, Jesus, Apollo, all those entities. It's all the same character, okay? It is the Antichrist, okay? And Crowley pretty much wrote this book, and this was on April 8th to April 10th. Those 3 days he was in the pyramid, writing out, channeling I was, aka who he referred to as Satan later on in his life, writing out what was coming, the Aeon of Horus, and it predicted all the things that are happening today. Okay? And it's interesting because while he was in the pyramid, he was instructed by Aiwass to draw an X. And how fitting, as the April 8th solar eclipse is going to be marking an X in its path over top of the United States. And we know X, aka the cross, is connected to the black cube of Saturn, aka Satan, aka the 4D AI, because the cross, the X, can fold up into a cube, which is this AI technology that controls the realm. Anyways, and like I said, I'm going to make a video on all this stuff at another time because it goes a lot deeper. But I just want to let you guys know that's what happened. And now he said the days from April 8th to April 10th are sacred days. He made it like a holiday for people in the Thelma religion, is which he started, which he wanted to be the new religion. Well, we know they want to make a new one world religion, right? He came in to tear down the old system to make the new, because we know that's what they do with their great resets. They always destroy the religions that they've created and bring in a new one. Well, he really started that process by channeling Lucifer, Satan, Horus, or Aiwass, aka AI. It's the AI. Okay, he was channeling the demiurge. Okay, so that's what happened there. So that's a sacred day for Satanists and occultists who follow Crowley. And of course, we see all these things happening. April 8th, with Cern entities coming in. And then the rumor has it they're going to sacrifice these red heifers on April 10th while all this is going on. That's right. So I actually have a video to show you guys now of this man who was a former Crowley follower, and now he turned his life to Yeshua, which is unfortunate. He went from one Satanist organization to, in my opinion anyways, back into religion, which I think is all part of the same beast system. But regardless of that, no judgment on the man. I can't judge him. I don't know him. I only saw this clip of him, so maybe I'm getting him wrong. I can't judge the guy. But I like what he's saying. I like the advice that he's giving. And then I'm going to tell you what I think we should do to spiritually prepare for this day and to spiritually protect ourselves. Okay? So we're going to listen to what he has to say, and then I'm going to elaborate on it. Okay, my friends? Take a look.
That's coming up in the spiritual plane in the next few weeks. Almost the whole world now knows about what's coming up on April 8th, that we're having this solar eclipse. And there's been a lot of people talking about different things and concerning it. And of course, it's a big deal astronomically. And of course, down to the centuries, eclipses and comets, things like that have always been considered to be omens and signs of incredible dark spiritual power. So again, you can imagine that this is going to be used by the evildoers to amp up their power to try and attack. But there's something different about this that many of you may not know. April 8th every year is a major feast of some satanic groups that are called Thelema, which is the Greek word for will. They're followers of Aleister Crowley, whom we've talked about numerous times on this channel. He was probably the most evil Satanist of the 20th century. And what happened was, just real quickly, in 1904, he had an experience where his wife, he had just recently married this woman, Rose Kelly, and they were on their honeymoon in Egypt, in Cairo, and she went into a trance and started delivering this document, which is called the Liber Alvel Legis, the Book of the Law. And this was on April 8th, 1904. And for 3 days, she sat there and delivered, quote unquote, 3 chapters to this, it's like a satanic Bible. And I've talked about it more in other places. I don't want to spend the time on it now. But the important thing is, because of this, later on in his life, Crowley died in 1947, but he declared those 3 days to be sacred, holy days for the Thelema cult. And they're called the equinox of the gods, these 3 days. And notice that the first day of this satanic feast is when the solar eclipse is. So this kind of creates a double whammy, if you will, because while not all satanic groups are followers of Crowley, a large number of them are. And I used to be a Crowley. I used to be a member of the OTO back in the 70s before I got out of that and Yeshua got me saved. But so I know all this stuff. And I want you to understand that there's an incredibly dark energy going on from this equinox of the gods. It's not an astronomical equinox. Crowley, who is really an egomaniac, he just decided, I'm going to make my own equinox. And so he made this into a major feast day of the Thelemic calendar. And all sorts of rituals and things are done. And because it's coinciding with this solar eclipse, it's especially high energy evil. And Christians and intercessors need to be aware of this stuff, because it's not just going to be another equinox. It's not just going to be another solar eclipse, which happens, every few years or so. It's going to be a confluence of 2 dark powers. Now, on the other hand, Jeremiah warns us, the prophet, that we are not to be dismayed at signs in the heavens, because this is what the heathen do. But what we do need to be not necessarily dismayed about, but aware of, is that the heathen, quote unquote, who include, black magicians and Satanists and witches, all view this time as a time where they really amp up their rituals, their spiritual energies, and in the case of black magicians, their curses. So be prepared, starting on the equinox, the vernal equinox, which is March 21st, all the way through the end of this equinox of the gods, which would end on April 10th, that there's going to be some really heavy weather spiritually. So let me suggest this. A lot of believers are unaware to a degree of the power of fasting. And I think with all of what's going on in the world, with all of what is happening in the next few weeks that I've just outlined, we need to really do what we can in terms of both prayer and fasting and intercession.
And there you have it. So, he is very correct in this. Fasting is powerful. And that's what I decided I'm going to be doing. I decided starting April 7th. The evening of April 7th, I'm going to have my last meal. And I'm going to try and do a fast from April 8th to April 10th. I'm going to try not to eat anything, just drink water. And this is not medical advice for anybody. You do what you feel you need to do during those days, because some people have complications when they fast, but that's what I'm going to do. And if you do choose to eat anything, I'd recommend eat very healthy, because eating unhealthy, drinking alcohol, taking drugs, all stuff like that could lower your vibration and mess with your natural spiritual protection of your aura. We need to be very strong vibration for that day. Okay, so personally, that's what I'm going to do. He says prayer, and you know what? I'm all for that if you know how to pray correctly. If you're praying upon deities, calling upon, let's say, Jesus, the Lord, God, I don't recommend doing that because you're going to be calling out to this AI entity, this satanic entity. Now, this is my opinion. You do what you believe. So if you believe in these entities, that's fine. But I'm just telling you where I'm coming from. And I will show you some evidence of what I'm saying right now. Take a look.
Satan's true name is God. We are not supposed to be calling upon the name God, and I'm going to show you. So I'm reading from the book of Enoch, which was removed from our Bibles. This is referring to a type of angels and their names. And the third was named Gadriel, or shortened would be God. He it is who shown the children of men all the blows of death, and he led astray Eve. So this is literally talking about Satan, the one who led astray Eve, right, in the garden. His true name is Gadriel, which shortened would be God. Now, if you go on Google and you type in God definition, you'll see this little name pop up next to it, G-A-D, God. The same way it's pronounced in Enoch, with that little vowel point above the A. Now look at this. Baal God means Lord of Fortune. Why do you think on the back of our money it says, "In God we trust"? It's not talking about the Most High of the Bible. This is a reference to Satan, the evil one. Now check this out. Every time you see Baal in the scriptures, it actually is just the Hebrew word for Lord. So we're not supposed to be calling him Lord either. All right, go into the Blue Letter Bible, click on Baal, and you will see it literally means Lord, which is the name they planted over the name Yahuwah 7,000 times in the scriptures. Every time you see in all caps the Lord, it was originally his name, Yahuwah. If you don't believe me, go fact check me. I have studied to show myself approved, and I'm just revealing to you guys what I have found. Don't shoot the messenger. Now remember what I said, we're not supposed to be calling him Lord because it actually means Baal. Go to Jeremiah 23 verse 27, whose true name is Yirmiyahu, who attempt to cause my people to forget my name for Baal, or Lord. Remember guys, Satan is literally the father of lies. Look at this. However, the word Baal means Lord. Look it up.
There you have it. God, I don't like using that term God because that is a pagan word. You better believe that all these names that you have for God have been given to you by the secret societies, by the Satanists, and by the Demiurge AI because they want you worshiping them at all times. So, of course, the religions that they gave you are going to make sure you're praising them. So, God means Gad. Okay, I've exposed that before, which is this AI entity. Lord means Baal. Jesus, when that man was alive, supposedly was alive, the letter J did not exist. Jesus actually means Hail Zeus. It goes back to Isis, and Isis translated to Hail Zeus. Zeus was not your friend, okay? And it is my opinion that anytime you're looking to an outside entity, that it is an antichrist, usually, okay? Or not someone to be trusted. So, hey, that's my opinion. I want you to follow your own intuition, your own heart. But for me, personally, I don't believe we need anything outside of ourselves for protection. So a way you could pray is just demand protection, but you're demanding it through your own sovereignty. Just saying, I demand spiritual protection that day. You could do a little protection, like you could imagine purple violet light or something coming down, or a golden light, or some people say a protective white light, and it surrounds your body, and it does a bubble around you, and then you just imagine that you're protected in this bubble and nothing could get to you, and then it expands out like a visualization meditation. And that's how I do my protections for spiritual protection. If you absolutely must call out to a deity, or not even a deity, but anything outside of yourself, if you feel like you absolutely have to and you don't trust yourself for protection, what I recommend to people is not calling out to any specific deity, because like I said, there's a lot of tricksters out there. We're not 100% sure, because a lot of times religions give you these people, so you don't know. So a safe way is to saying, if there's any beings out there who are of love, okay, and who have a positive agenda for humanity, who are at the highest vibration, who are positive, of love, then please help with my protection. Because you see, these beings can't violate your free will like that. So if you state very specifically a being of love, of the highest vibration, who only has positive intentions for myself and humanity, then that will cancel out any deities who are tricksters or anything like that. I don't even believe that's necessary, but if you feel like that's how it should be, then I would say that's the safest bet to go, if you absolutely feel you need to call upon something to protect you. But as far as calling upon any entity or deity, you never know if they could be a trickster. So that's why I like to cancel all that out and just say, make it very clear, state your intention that you're only allowing a being of love to come through who has a positive agenda for yourself and humanity that is in the name of love. Okay? Because we got to be very careful. Now that's what I'm doing. You do what you feel is right. Okay? But this is based on my personal experiences, my own contact, and my knowledge of this realm and what's going on here. Okay, my friends? Now, to end things on a positive note, yes, all these things are happening, but just because the dark is making their moves, never forget that there are light forces out there, good forces, who are making their moves as well. And I do believe that the people who do detox themselves and who are fighting for humanity and for love and freedom, we are being activated, and I believe there's going to be some powerful energies of love and the good forces firing through these portals as well on this day. A lot of people are saying that this eclipse is just going to activate us even more. Some of us might even get superpowers, they're saying, which, hey, we are in the ascension process, right? We all feel the changes. Not all of us, but a lot of people, especially the people, the chosen ones, whatever you want to call it, those of us who are going on that positive timeline, we're all feeling changes in our body, in our consciousness. We're feeling the energy shifting, and it's very intense times for a lot of us. Ascension symptoms, you know it. Our dormant DNA is being activated by the sun, and some are saying that this event is just going to activate us even more. So it's not all negative. If you are one of those ones who are putting in the work and absorbing these energies and keeping your vessel clean, then this could actually be positive for you. But for all those people who are not on that path and are not protecting themselves and who are accepting the beast system, accepting the demiurge, and accepting the AI and all that, there's going to be some dark things happening in this realm, some major world events. Like I said, 2024 is going to be a hell of a year, and expect for some craziness, expect for some madness to take place, my friends. Absolutely. So that's about it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, like I said, subscribe. I'm starting up my Patreon once again. I took a month off, so if you'd like to join Patreon for exclusive content you don't get anywhere else, the link is down below in the description. Or if you'd just simply like to buy old Linol a coffee, feel free to do so. I'm on the website, Buy Me a Coffee. The link is down below in the description. And hey, if you buy old Linol coffee, then guess what? I'm going to send you some exclusive Patreon videos to your email. So, yeah, that's about it, my friends. So thank you for your support. Leave a comment, tell me what you think, and remember, don't be in fear, just be prepared, and the light will win at the end of the day if you are on the good side. For the people who haven't put in the work, for the people who are part of the dark side, they're going to lose. End of the day, they have to, right? But you could go down that positive timeline, so don't be in fear. Okay, my friends? Be positive, manifest your highest timeline. Until next time, my next video, we're going even further into the Antichrist and how it's about to be unleashed. It's an amazing video, so make sure you're subscribed. We'll see you then. Linol, signing off.